Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys had a good weekend. We are here in our last week before spring break. It's a short week. But yeah, so we're going to get into it today. First off, I want to thank everyone once again for sending in the photos. Today, we are going to review some photos that we had. Some of them are from sports day that I got late, and then some of them are the family photos. So let's go ahead and get into those photos and submissions. All right, so one of the late submissions was from Destiny, wearing her Kobe Bryant jersey. Always a good jersey. Thank you, Destiny. And the next photo was sent in by Wendy. Thank you, Wendy, for including your teammates. We have the girls basketball team: Wendy, Kaylin, Martha, and Camila. Good job, ladies. Now we're gonna jump into the submissions for Family Day. First up, we have Destiny and her family, and it's Halloween with Destiny. Thank you, Destiny. Next, we have Juan and his sisters and mother. Next, we have Jesus and his brother Carlos and his mom. Funny story is I asked Jesus whose birthday it was, and he says he had no idea. They're just having cake. Next up, we have Andrea and her family. Thank you for making the collage, Andrea. Next, we have Emily and her family. When Emily was a baby, can you tell which one Emily is? And we also have this picture submitted by Emily, a more recent photo of her and her family at Disneyland. Thank you, Emily. By the way, that is one of my favorite rides right there, the Toy Story Mania ride. I love that ride. And last but not least, we have Carolyn. Thank you, Carolyn. It's crazy how in all your photos that you submitted this week, you've never showed your face. That's pretty funny. Thank you, Carolyn, for submitting this photo. Once again, thank you all for sending in those photos. I really appreciate all you guys sending in those photos all week long, so thank you for that. We'll get back into the stories and the news starting tomorrow. But today, let's go ahead and get into our lessons. All right, so last time we talked about the effects of the War of 1812. We talked about the causes. So, like, some of the causes of the war was the impressment of the American sailors. Remember, the British people were going to these American ships, taking their people and making them fight for the British side, and that was something that they didn't like. They also didn't like how the British people were interrupting with the trade that the Americans are doing across the ocean, and how they thought they were just favoring the French and they were stealing and pirating these ships. The third reason of the cause was how the military of the British, they kept helping the Native Americans and providing them guns, which caused a lot of problems. And this was all what led to the War of 1812. Some of the effects that happened from the War of 1812 is the sense of national pride. Remember, the U.S. defeated the British once again, and they did this time. They defeated them pretty easily, but they gave everybody a sense of national pride, like we can all stick together and take down the British, and we are becoming a powerhouse in this world because of this. The second thing that happened was the Americans, they boosted their manufacturing. And one thing that they did was they realized that they didn't have a lot of supplies, so they needed to make more things. So the creation of these factories and stuff served to really boost their manufacturing and boost their economy. The third thing was the Native American resistance. It started to weaken. So the Native Americans kind of like backed off now and started to realize, okay, maybe we can't mess around with the Americans and we should give them their land, or maybe we should just mind our own business and stop getting help from the British. One thing that was also pretty cool is, remember, this is the time where we got our Star Spangled Banner, and everyone's just proud to be an American right now because of what's going on. So let's go ahead and get into our review for today, or the questions from Friday. So number 1 and number 3, they're kind of the same question. I kind of messed up. So what were the main effects of the War of 1812, and how did the U.S. benefit from the War of 1812? Pretty much the same. And the answer should be the increased feelings of patriotism, or the sense of national pride, being proud to be an American, being proud to fight against the British and standing up and winning. So that was one of the main effects. The second one was uh, the boosting of the American manufacturing. So at the time, remember, they needed to make more goods, so manufacturing boosted, which is going to help them increase their economy. And the last thing was the Native Americans started to kind of resist and kind of like know where they're supposed to be and not really fight back against the Americans. So that started to weaken. Number two, what were the terms of the Treaty of Ghent? The Treaty of Ghent, the terms, it ended the war. It pretty much returned all conquered land back to the U.S. So all the land that the Native Americans were trying to say that's not theirs, it came back all to the U.S. And a lot of these other things, pretty much what happened with foreign ties, it's all going to come back to the next president. But that's pretty much the Treaty of Ghent was. It gave back the land and it ended the War of 1812. So today there's not going to be a new lesson. I'm just going to have you read an article about the War of 1812. But today I also want you to start gathering all your notes and get ready, because tomorrow you are going to take a test, and I didn't want to give you a test on a Monday without warning you guys. So today, use this as a study day or a day to get all your notes ready, and tomorrow you'll take the test. Just to let you know, the test is going to cover from when Jefferson became a president. So your first notes, they should be titled Jefferson becomes a president, or the election of 1800, and it's going to go all the way up into the War of 1812. So there's 4 different sections in this test, but the same format. We'll do it online. It'll be multiple choice, but and you can use your notes. But I just want to make sure that you guys have all your notes today. If you don't have all your notes, please send me a message so I can try to get you those notes for you. And all the notes that you've had for these past 3 weeks of online learning, make sure you have access to them so you can look back to them while you take the test. So today, just read the article, answer the 4 questions about the War of 1812. You may learn something else that I forgot to explain. Also, just start to get all your notes prepared, because tomorrow you will take a test. Okay? So if you have any questions, send me a message, if anything. If not, have a good day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for your test.